into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. My name is Mario Tirabassi, joined by Greg Boysen. We are presented by PointsBet. Remember to use the promo code CHGO when you sign up, and you'll get 2 risk-free bets for up to $2,000. Final score tonight in overtime. Boston Bruins 2, Blackhawks 1. Story of the game tonight, Marc-Andre Fleury standing on his head to steal a point for the Blackhawks tonight. Blackhawks and Bruins do it again. They played a couple nights ago, 4-3. The Bruins got a goal with 17 seconds left in regulation to win that one. Blackhawks put up an effort that night in which they definitely deserved at least a point. Tonight, outside of Fleury, no one really put up a performance that said that the Blackhawks deserved a point, but they got it tonight. Not that points, wins or losses matter right now for them, but like I said, Fleury, the story of the game tonight in a game that really displayed the difference talent-wise between the Bruins and the Blackhawks. This was a game that I thought we were going to see when they first played earlier this week.
Yeah, you said it pretty good there. Blackhawks deserved the point in Boston last week, didn't get it. They had no business getting a point tonight, and they get one. So, hockey is silly sometimes, and this is one of them silly moments. The Bruins kind of just, they owned the game, most of the game. Blackhawks couldn't get any sustained pressure because they never had the puck. And then it seemed most of the time that when they had some zone time, they'd either miss the net or have a turnover or cross-ice pass to nobody, and it was going back the other way. A frustrating game to watch outside of the performance of number 29. That game probably should have never gone to overtime anyway, because I still don't know how that goal got taken away. The Bruins should have won in regulation. That goalie interference, it wasn't there. Stillman made the contact with Marc-Andre Fleury, but he wasn't. He fell on his own. A couple people on Twitter said, "Well, Craig Smith tripped him." I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So again, another goalie interference call. I don't know what goalie interference
is. It's a made up rule. A lot like the salary cap. It's just one of like you said, hockey is silly, and it's just part of the silliness. Is people like you and me bet actual dollars through PointsBet on hockey. A game that is so fluky, so random, and you can have a game where the Bruins, at one point were on pace to outshoot the Blackhawks by about 35 shots, and you have a game where it was up for grabs in the last 5 minutes. Yeah. So it's
why we watch this wonderful, stupid sport, because you literally never know what can happen, and it takes one play to get a team back in the game. We saw it. Brendan Hagel, 21st goal of the year, a redirect off a shot from the point by Caleb Jones. Yesterday, you and I were both at practice, and they spent a lot of time towards the end of that practice doing plays just like that. Mm-hmm. They were doing the tip drill in front of the net, working on the redirects, and Hagel comes up with it. He's shown all season that he can score in many different ways. Getting to the front of the net, getting the stick out, great hand-eye coordination. It was a great play. Again, as we like to say here, we are in full support of the Brendan Hagel experience, but let's,
we're not looking to trade.
No, we're not actively looking to trade him, but if someone's going to give us, a king's ransom for him, I would say yes. But anyway, we're more on the trade stuff later. But
yeah, we'll
plenty
get into
of trade
that
stuff.
Plenty of
it's our last real storylines to talk about, because after Monday 2 p.m. passes, we're just kind of be like, okay, we got to play these games out and see if anybody impresses us. There's not going to be a lot of excitement per se.
Well, the exciting part comes from seeing which guys are going to get opportunities to prove themselves, to be like, hey, we're going into a rebuild. Who's going to stick around? Who's going to be worth keeping around, right, and seeing what they got? And I think that's where the exciting part, at least especially for me, and especially for you, two of us coming through and really paying attention to the Blackhawks minor league system the last couple of years. This is that time of year where a team is going to start selling at the trade deadline, and you're going to see a lot of new faces, a lot of young faces coming into the lineup. We might even see a new young face that signed his first contract earlier today. We'll get into that a little bit later as well.
You are the king of foreshadowing tonight.
I'm trying to work on the teasers here.
Yes.
So
reasons to stick around.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, Brandon Hagel, 21st goal of the season. Disclaimer: we are not trying to advocate trading for Brandon Hagel. But yes, if you get the reported asking price for Hagel, which is first round pick plus a top tier prospect, plus probably a little bit more, it's really hard to pass that up. And I think you see a performance like tonight, and it really just continues the both sides of the coin argument about, well, he should probably be sticking around because he's got a lot of value to the team, but also does it outweigh the value on the trade market? I know we've had this debate to no end, but
well, we only have a few more days to have this debate.
6 more days. 5.5.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We don't know, and I don't think Kyle Davidson is calling up people saying, "Hey, what would you give me for Brandon Hagel?" But I'm sure that's the other way around. Some of these contending teams are looking to add a guy like him, so they're calling Davidson, and Kyle's got to, he's got to field every call. He can't be screening his calls at this point. Every offer should be listened to at this point. Even for, guys like Alex DeBrincat or Patrick Kane, you got to listen to the offers. You got to see what people are willing to pay. So if and when you're ready to move a player like that, you have an idea of what people are willing to give you, and you can go from there. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure the phone's ringing a lot. We saw our first significant trade here.
As we're at the first, significant trade as we're getting into
trade, So hopefully
into the deadline. Yep.
It's been so freaking quiet the last couple. Usually we see something by this point, and we just had the Josh Manson trade yesterday. So hopefully that's going to start getting the ball rolling. There's somewhat of a market set, and
at least a market set that can impact the Blackhawks.
Absolutely, yeah.
Again, foreshadowing, teasing. We'll get into that a little bit later as well. So I think we're hopefully going to get to the point where this trade can start opening the dam a little bit, and some of these players that are not top tier trade bait players that the Blackhawks have, and they need to move. They can start getting taking a look at on the trade market, and they're not helping themselves in that respect by playing guys like Dominik Kubalik and Henrik Borgstrom and Eric Gustafsson, 3 guys that probably should be moving if they can get a deal done for them. Playing them in non-spotlight roles. Dominik Kubalik, granted, he hasn't done much of anything recently, shouldn't be playing 7 minutes on your fourth line, 7 minutes of even strength time on your fourth line if you're trying to get a trade,
right?
A trade value worth anything for him.
No, I 100% agree. Those are guys you got to play these last couple games. Hope they get hot. Maybe the established the market value for them is established at this point, and it's not high. It's not great. I can't see anybody. Kubalik, I think, will draw a little more interest than a Borgstrom. I think. Kubalik has shown that he can be a 30-goal scorer in this league. He's still an RFA after this year, so you will have control as far as if you want to bring him back or not. So he's not a pure rental,
right,
per se. And he's a guy that's just got no confidence right now. So maybe just getting out of this situation here and getting on a new team, maybe he grips that stick a little tight. Again, we both noticed yesterday at Blackhawks practice. Yes, I'm bragging that we're going to Blackhawks practice in morning skates now because it's pretty
new
freaking
for
cool.
us and it's fun.
Yes,
Let us have some fun.
It's nice to be like a part of the official beat now. It's been a really cool couple of days. But we talked about it earlier. We noticed Kubalik even at practice yesterday. He's uptight,
shooting wide,
missing the net by 100 feet, shaking his head, looking up at the lights. If you're doing that in practice, it's not going to happen in the game. He's uptight. He's got no confidence. A trade for him right now is probably the best for his career. Not that he can't do it again here, but it's just not happening. And playing fourth line minutes, barely any even strength time. He got a little bit of power play time.
That was, 8 minutes and 46 seconds of ice time, a minute and 52 just on the power play.
Yeah, it's just if you're trying to trade a guy, or if you're not trying to trade him, you're just trying to get his confidence back up. Neither of those that ice time's accomplishing nothing on either of those fronts. No. You're not doing any favors for his trade value or his confidence. And you look at a guy like Borgstrom. Derek King, head coach today, was asked about Borgstrom and said, he thinks there's something there, and he likes his game, but it only shows up in spurts. Well, we literally only got a spurt tonight with 4+ minutes. I mean, I wasn't even in the arena, and I almost got as much ice time as Henrik Borgstrom, and I had just as many shots on goal. So, again, this is another guy that you're trying to trade. How come you're not playing him? The results don't matter. So let's maybe see if these guys can actually play.
I mean, Henrik Borgstrom. I said it before on Saturday's podcast. It's just he has no value to this team, and playing him 4.5 minutes does nothing to change that fact. And Derek King spoke about building trust with him. How is he supposed to build trust with 4.5 minutes of ice time? Like that's like Brandon Bolig ice time. Like you're not going to get anything done with that.
The shivers.
Sorry. But that makes my point. Like you're playing a guy who's got no rhythm to his game, can't have a ton of confidence, and you give him 4.5 minutes in a game that doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I understand. Like you're getting your teeth knocked in by the Bruins with, how much pressure they're putting on, but you got to throw the guy some sort of bone.
Well, I mean, if your top line guys can't stop the Bruins from playing offense, maybe let your bottom line guys give it a shot.
Right.
I mean, the Kane to Brinkett Strome line was getting owned in their own zone all night long. So maybe don't, try something different. Mm-hmm. And yes, January, it was my picking of Kubalik to lead the Blackhawks in goals that have caused all this season. I'll admit that. I jinxed him. He's not the first player I've jinxed, and he won't be the last. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think the way that the lineup is starting to be handled as we're getting towards the trade deadline, it's concerning to me because I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between what the Blackhawks should be trying to accomplish with showcasing some of these players to that are going to be on the move, and then you're also continuously putting Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat and Dylan Strome out there for 20, 21, 22, 23 minutes a night. Like I get that you want to play you're going to play your top guys to be competitive. I get that. That's the nature of sports, is to compete and try and win. But at this point, results don't matter, and the trade deadline being, a couple days away, you should be trying to put out your trade pieces, give them a final look to the trade market and say, hey, this is where this guy is at right now. With his abilities, with his confidence, with hot streak culture, whatever it is, like you have to put that out on display. And I think one of the biggest displays was Marc-Andre Fleury tonight. Like I said it on Twitter, I was just like, this should be the last game he plays before the trade deadline. Like this should be the last piece of you don't need tape he has.
You don't need him pulling a hamstring trying to make a ridiculous save in a game that means nothing to your team. So, yeah, go out on a high note. Yeah, you didn't get the win, but, man, he was phenomenal tonight, all night long.
Incredible.
Vintage performance, and if he is getting moved, go out with one of your best games of the year. Leave us with a good one if that's the case.
And he needed to have a game like that.
Yeah.
His previous 6 games before tonight, his save percentages were 870, 886, 906, 813, 906, and 870.
Yeah.
He comes out tonight, 46 saves on 48 shots, second highest amount of saves he's made in his career in a single game. Last time he did that was in 2008. So it's been a while since he's been on teams that have been so, have not given him the kind of defensive help that he needed that the Blackhawks gave him tonight. But yeah, that's got to be a performance that you can that Fleury can hang his hat on, and Kyle Davidson can say, hey, here's where Mark's at right now. He's able to make 46 incredible saves. Not 46, not all 46 of them were incredible, but he made a lot of vintage saves, like you said, tonight to keep the Blackhawks competitive. And I think that should be, the lasting performance that he has leading up to the trade deadline. I mean, we've seen some of these, top trade pieces as we're getting to the final week before the deadline, where, we're starting to see some asset management. The Canadians scratching Ben Sherratt tonight. And then on the flip side of that, the Coyotes lose Jacob Chikrin with a lower body injury for the next 2 to 4 weeks. There's two sides of it, and you can't risk your biggest trade pieces, especially when it's Marc-Andre Fleury, who's in a high risk position at goaltender with 5 days left.
Yeah, and you got back-to-back games this weekend. The last 2 games before the trade deadline come on Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, he's not going to play both of those games. We'll see Kevin Lankinen. And if it comes down to, okay, you play Kevin Lankinen Saturday against Minnesota, and then Sunday you don't want to put Marc-Andre Fleury out there, hours before the trade deadline and risk injury. So, maybe you call up Arvid Soderblom or Colin Delia, let them get hey, thanks for being good soldiers down in Rockford. Come up and start against the Winnipeg Jets on Sunday night. It's definitely something they should be talking about. You don't want to, unless they know, hey, Marc-Andre Fleury is just not going to accept a trade anywhere, but he can only deny 10 teams. But he knows the teams that want him, so he'll just put those teams on his list and move on. Right.
They're deploying him in the last couple of days as if they know he's sticking around.
Yeah, and they've played him that way for the last 6 weeks. I mean, you can argue those low below average save percentage you just read off there. You can attribute that to overplaying Marc-Andre Fleury for the last
couple of months, basically.
Well, yes, especially since Lankinen, when he broke his hand, it was
even before that. It was there was I don't have the stat off in front of me, but off the top of my head, it was something like from the start of the new year to just like 2 weeks ago. He started something like 17 of 20 games, something like that. It was a crazy stretch where it was just like every game was Fleury.
The goaltending situation, and as you mentioned with the ice time and overplaying your top guys out there, while they're telling you that this is going to be a rebuild, the in-game strategies have been that this is a team like in the race for that 8th and final playoff seed.
Right.
So they're saying one thing, but in practice they're doing something else. So. Maybe you have to force Derek King's hand by trading some of these guys that he's playing too much away, and then you can get these young guys out there like you want to.
It just seems like they're with the lineup decisions. They're trying to just squeeze every drop out of what they can get prior to the trade deadline, right, knowing that they're most likely going to be moving a bunch of players. So I don't know. It's weird because it's not just like the Blackhawks are just holding on to their cards while everything is happening around them. It's just complete silence around the league.
Yeah.
The Josh Manson trade, it was like, wow, like we actually have a trade to talk about. And, it has some implications on the Blackhawks and on the defenseman market. So that trade was Josh Manson going from the Anaheim Ducks to the Colorado Avalanche. Going back the other way to the Ducks is prospect Drew Hellison from Boston College, who they actually just signed to his entry-level contract today, and a 2023 second-round pick from the Avalanche. So how does that impact the Blackhawks? Calvin DeHaan is on the trade market. He could have had a better game tonight, had one unfortunate shift that almost led to the game-winning goal for the Bruins there. But, according to The Athletic, Mark Lazarus and Scott Powers put it out there today that the asking price that they've been hearing is a second-round pick for DeHaan. So seeing what Josh Manson brought back, I think that doesn't sound too far-fetched.
No. Before the Josh Manson trade, I would have not thought getting a second-round pick for DeHaan would be a thing. I would have thought third round. But now that we have that established, I think they very easily could get a second-round pick now. If that's what Josh Manson brought in, and you just compare the numbers. They're very similar. They're the same exact age. DeHaan's got more NHL experience, but some of that is to do that Manson's had some serious durability issues the last couple of years. He's missed a lot of games the last 3 seasons. DeHaan had that serious injury, before, but since he's been here with the Blackhawks,
he's been pretty reliable.
Well, he's missed a couple of things here, but that's because he plays like a warrior out there.
Exactly.
And it's watching him play some nights, you're surprised he hasn't missed more time. I mean, I need an ice pack after watching a couple of his shifts. So I think for sure, Manson's also takes a ton more penalty minutes than DeHaan. He's a liability out there as far as that goes, because you don't want him taking a bad penalty in a tight playoff game. So I think that for what Colorado gave up to get Manson, I think the Blackhawks could get a second round pick without the prospect. A second round pick straight up for Calvin DeHaan, I would be ecstatic for that return. I think that would be a great return, especially even if it's in the 2023 draft and not this year.
Right.
Because the 2023 draft is a really good draft to have a whole lot of picks in. So the Hawks already have what? 3
second round picks
this year. So shoot for the 2023 draft. I'd be happy with that too.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of chatter about teams valuing more, a 2023 draft pick than a 2022 draft pick.
Draft is going to be much deeper than this year's draft. So load up for 2023 if you can.
Shout out Jay in the comments. I don't know if you're back from Florida yet. I hope it was a great birthday party, but we're looking forward to having you in the studio.
Good seeing our buddy Jay there in the comments. Face. And we can't wait till he's reading the comments with us here in studio, then making the comments from the comfort of his own home. But
he can.
Glad to see you are safely back in Chicago, my friend, from the land of the Floridas, America's wing, as some people like to call it. But
and shout out to the YouTube chat. You guys are awesome. If you are watching on YouTube, you can scroll back in that chat a little bit and see some interesting news that we'll get to talk about very soon here for you podcast listeners. Go check out the YouTube video.
Yeah,
and
you can like button.
You can check out the comments. Yeah, smash that like button.
And speaking of our YouTube commenters, we have to give a special shout out to our super YouTube and Discord commenter, Ms. January Ross, for sending us that amazing care package of all that peanut brittle. That was super sweet, and all of us here in the office have been munching on the peanut brittle. The jalapeno is that stuff is fantastic. So thank you for being just a loyal reader, commenter, listener, and sending us that nice gift. That was very nice. There you go. Yeah. Just what she loves, sound effects.
I had no idea. I had no idea that jalapeno peanut brittle was a thing. And 2, that it's delicious.
It's amazing.
It's so good. So yeah, thank you.
Sweet, hot, and salty, all in one bite.
Yeah, it's under underrated, great flavor combination. So yeah, thanks to January for the support and the peanut brittle. Yeah. If you also want to support us here at CHGO, a great way to do that is to download the PointsBet app and use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. And if you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets for up to $2,000. But that is not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That is $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com. We'll be happy to help you out. Introducing PointsBet's new feature. They're really excited about this one. It is live college basketball same-game parlays. For the first time ever, you can build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. And now online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish from your phone. Plus, during PointsBet Match Madness, all users can earn up to $100 in free bets during each round of the NCAA tournament. Just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free $20 live bet to be used for that round. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Well, let's talk about the bets that we had tonight on the Blackhawks game. We not a great night for Greg and I.
Well, you hit one of your bets.
I did hit one. So I put 3 down, and I had Jonathan Toews over half a point. So Jonathan Toews getting a point. That didn't happen.
Nope.
But save that ding, because I had Brandon Hagel also recording a point tonight. That did happen with his 21st goal of the season. The over of 6 did not hit. So I was 1 for 3 tonight.
I just went for the one bet. I went for the big value bet. I bet $2 that Mackenzie Entwistle would score a goal, but it was plus 3,000. So if he would have had a goal, that's a $60 win. And he had the puck on his stick with 10 seconds left.
Yes,
but not so much.
We were watching the game here in the office, and the clock's ticking down, and it kind of, Blackhawks have one more rush, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Entwistle's on the ice, and then he had a chance from the slot, and he just fumbled it. But I was getting so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna have a great ace chance. That would have been
my cash out bet.
That would have doubled your deposit.
I went with Mackenzie because I did a little article on him on allchgo.com. So if you're a member, you can go check that out. And if you're not a member, you can become a member. You can read, all of our stuff. Mario and I both had posts up today. I had a little feature on Mackenzie Entwistle. You talked about Alex Vlasic, who was signed today. And so you can get access to all the great written content, not for the Blackhawks, but for all of our Chicago teams. We've got an amazing team covering all Chicago sports. Great stuff. Plus, you get a free shirt when you sign up. I mean, great content, free shirts. Join us on Discord. Seriously, if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Yeah, it's quite the deal. And you look at the bottom right of your screen, that CHGO Blackhawks logo. I can't say enough about how great that logo looks. And Eric, our graphics designer, he did a fantastic job. So you can get that logo on a bright red shirt, show off your CHGO Blackhawks pride around the city. Going to be looking good. And
first person I see at the United Center wearing one of those, I'm sending you a beverage of your choice.
There you go. How can you say no to that? So yeah, I mean, you talked about Mackenzie Entwistle. He's an interesting player because he's a young guy. He's going to be around for a little bit of time at least. Got some time left on his deal. And he's one of these young players that came up through the prospect system and really wasn't like a major piece, a major prospect that everyone was drooling over to see him get to the NHL. But he's worked hard. He's worked he's worked himself into a role that is not really glorified, but can get players, to have, long careers in the NHL if they embrace it. And he's a kid that's been able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. He's, everybody dreams coming up through juniors and the minors or whatever. You want to be the Alex DeBrincat. You want to be the Patrick Kane. Well, you can't. Those guys don't all exist. You need guys to do the dirty work. And a lot of young players who might have been offensive stars in their younger days, playing in juniors or college, they have a problem being asked to take on a role of a grinder type player. And that was what Entwistle was asked to do. He was asked to become a more physical player, asked to do the dirty work, get better defensively, contribute on the penalty kill. And that's exactly what he's done. He's not only taken that to heart, he's embraced it. He's excelling at it. I think he's done a really good job. The progress he's made, you and I both got to watch a lot of him in Rockford in our past lives. So, the progress he's made from when he first turned pro to where he is now is great. He should be commended for it. I don't see any postseason awards or many all-star game appearances in his career, but you need guys who understand their role, not only understand their role, but embrace their roles. You need guys like that to win hockey games, and he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and for young players to have the attitude that he does by embracing that role is something that is pretty commendable.
It is, and hopefully it's something that will become contagious over the next couple of years, where he can be a guy that can look at some of these other rookies come up and say, listen, I bought in. It's not necessarily what I wanted to do, but I bought in, and now, I'm here every night. I'm not going back to Rockford. I'm playing, and I'm getting trusted with the, a shift in a tie game in the waning seconds. You trust is a two-way street, and he's earned it by doing what was asked of him. And that's the kind of attitude the Hawks are going to need these next few years.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of post trade deadline. Yeah. Like, we've talked about it. The roster and the lineup that we're likely going to see with the Blackhawks starting March 22nd is, a younger lineup. And a lot of these players that are playing in Rockford right now will have opportunities to come up in and out of, be up and down between the NHL and the AHL as Rockford has a little bit of a playoff push going on right now. And, getting looks at the NHL level, you got to make the most of your time. And yeah, I mean, we've said it here. Entwistle is a great example of a guy who's made the most of his time every night. And, he's had ups and downs, but he's embraced that role. And I think that's something that's really important for younger players to see. Speaking of the IceHogs, a 4-3 overtime win tonight as they were on the road against the Cleveland Monsters. Lucas Reichel, 2 goals tonight. He's got 18 on the year. He had the OT winner tonight. And like I said, Rockford currently in a playoff push in the AHL. They are 5th in the Central Division. And if you're familiar with the normal AHL playoff format, 5th place usually wasn't a playoff push,
right.
Not a playoff spot. But as Greg reminded me tonight, the AHL playoff format has gotten completely screwy.
It's the most insane thing I've ever seen. It's like this wall right here is what the playoff record's going to look like in the AHL.
It's gonna
23 teams get into the AHL playoffs. So the Central Division, which the IceHogs are in, 5 out of the 7. Basically, everybody makes it except the last 2 teams in each division. So there's 7 teams in the Central. The IceHogs are 5th. That's the last spot, and it's really close. They go by point percentage because everybody plays a different amount of games, which again is weird, but it's minor leagues and there's travel costs, and some teams play in divisions where everybody plays within a 150-mile radius of each other, and other teams have to make long trips. So it's strange, but the IceHogs are right there. They could finish as high as 3rd in the division or miss the playoffs completely. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on them. Hopefully we got some playoff hockey to talk about in Rockford because, we need something to talk about.
It would be nice. It would be nice to have some excitement
and have
around the prospects.
And have guys like Lucas Reichel and guys like Ian Mitchell and Wyatt Kalnuck and all these young defensemen we keep talking about. To have them go play big time minutes in playoff games is going to be huge for their development going forward. So go IceHogs. Shout out to a good friend of both myself and Mario, Joey Z, the great Joey Z. I hope to hear him play, make some playoff calls this spring. It'll be nice.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll go out there. We'll take a road trip. We'll have a remote from the BMO Harris Center. We'll make that happen.
I would love to do that. It has been too long since I've been at the BMO Harris Bank Center.
You've been gone so long that they don't even have a press box anymore.
Well, yeah, they're making those renovations.
It's a suite now. You gotta be a high roller at the Hard Rock Casino in Rockford to get up there now.
Look at you, Rockford, with your suites now.
Good stuff. Well,
we got Gail in the comments. 5 goals and 6 assists for Entwistle. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Hey, Gail.
Hey, Gail.
Nice
Friend of the program.
Yes, contributor to the program.
Yeah. Another one of those young players that will likely be seeing time in Rockford coming up in the next couple of weeks is the young defenseman that signed his entry-level contract earlier this afternoon. That's Alex Vlasic, 2019 second-round draft pick for the Blackhawks, signing his entry-level deal this afternoon. $8,224,167 AAV over the 3 years of his entry-level deal. But that's really 2.25 years because signing it at this point of the season, that'll count as the first year, but it's you burn it either way.
Right.
So he comes in after having 3 seasons at Boston University in the NCAA. Was a top 4 top pair defenseman with the Terriers for pretty much his entire time there. He was an All Hockey East honorable mention this season as a junior. The biggest thing that he's got going for him right now, stepping off the college stage and into the professional ranks, is his size. 6'6", 210 plus pounds. I think that's the best thing that he's going to have going forward as he steps into his rookie season, is that the physicality at the professional level. I think he'll be able to absorb that. And I think, based on, scouting reports and what we've seen in his development year over year, is that for a player of his size, he actually can skate pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. He does. He definitely brings the size. He is your typical or prototypical stay-at-home defenseman. There's not a lot of offense there. He may pick up some assists here or there, but he's not going to be your...
Not going to run your power play.
No, he's not going to be that, Quinn Hughes type defenseman by any means, but he's what the Blackhawks need. The Blackhawks need, just look at how many shots they gave up tonight. They need a guy to help prevent as much pucks getting to your goalie, and he'll do that.
Absolutely.
He'll provide that physicality. He'll be the guy that, helps clear the crease so there's not 2 guys there for Patrice Bergeron to put it home an easy rebound, so...
he's a player that you hope in a few years, as he develops, will be the kind of guy that other teams are like, oh, we got to deal with Vlasic tonight. Like, you want that.
Just look at the name. The pedigree's there. He's a cousin to Marc-Andre Vlasic, or Marc-Edouard Vlasic. I got Marc-Andre on the brain. Marc-Edouard Vlasic, the long-time, very good defenseman for the San Jose Sharks, who still is. He's still playing, right? I think. I don't know. I haven't watched many Sharks games this year. I think he is. I have not tuned in too many San Jose Shark games this year for a lot of reasons. But regardless if he's playing or not, he had a fabulous long career being a stay-at-home defenseman, and he's cut from the same mold. We had a commenter, I can't remember which one, actually said it was possible to see Vlasic play this week. I think so. I mean, I think the plan is they made it sound like he's going to be practicing with the team Thursday. Mario and I will tweet out some pictures. So follow us on Twitter. See those giraffe pictures we're going to send out on Thursday morning. I definitely think it could be a thing where they give him 1 or 2 games over the weekend to play, and then send him down to Rockford for their playoff push. And then you can call up. I mean, it all depends on what happens after Monday, as we've been saying. How many spots are open?
Right. Maybe
give him a taste. There's our question. Thanks for the question on Vlasic. I think you play him one of those 2 games over the weekend, let him get a taste, and then when the trade deadline comes, you might be seeing an Ian Mitchell or Wyatt Kalnick come up here for good for the season. Then you can slot Vlasic down there to take that spot and get that seasoning and play those big games down the stretch and become a contributor to hopefully a playoff run. So we'll see how that goes. But the plan is he's a pro. He's turned pro. And whether that means the rest of the year in Chicago or a lot of it in Rockford, we'll see how that plays out.
I think likely we'll see a lot of it in Rockford.
I hope so.
Based on the way that, the new front office regime is taking the approach to development, I think, we're going to see Vlasic get most of his time. 20
to 22 minutes in Rockford are more beneficial to him right now than 11 to 15 minutes in Chicago.
Absolutely. And yeah, also, take into consideration the Blackhawks lineup tonight, that's all that they have currently on their roster that's healthy. They made no recalls after Connor Murphy and Tyler Johnson went down. So the 18 skaters they had tonight, that's their roster right now. So yeah, Vlasic coming in, he'll be the only, healthy player that wasn't in tonight's lineup. So I think it'll be, I think it'll be definitely, you can definitely bet that he'll be in the lineup at least this weekend, maybe a little bit beyond it. But yeah, I think we're going to see a rotation of young blue liners.
Get him a game period with Seth Jones.
Yeah, a couple shifts or a whole game, whatever. What does it matter?
Taste. Seth Jones is your mobile guy, but your veteran that can tell him to be in the right places. Give him a game. Let him get a taste. It does no damage. It's a no lose situation. Let him get that taste. He's earned it after a good college career, and then say, okay, go enjoy some Olive Garden in Rockford and learn your craft.
Yeah, it definitely can't hurt, and I think with the crop of defensemen that the Blackhawks have, the young guys, Vlasic is definitely the kind of player that they were missing. They have enough, mid-sized sedans. They need some SUVs down there. They got a guy like Alec Regula, who I've liked what I've seen from him at the NHL level in the couple of games that he's had. But yeah, I mean they've got Beaudin, they've got Ian Mitchell, they got Wyatt Kalanick. Like these are more mobile puck moving defensemen, not really the big guys that you look at teams like Boston, teams like Tampa Bay, teams that have success and deep playoff runs. They have big defensemen that are hard to play against, and I think the Blackhawks for a while their strategy in drafting defensemen was, let's get speed guys, let's get puck movers. We had, and then we had Adam Boquist, Nicholas Beaudin, Ian Mitchell, Chad Chris, like all these guys, and it was just like, okay, you're not going to win with that being your future. So I think we're seeing a new investment in size, and I think guys like Isaac Phillips, Alec Regula, Alex Vlasic, I think these are the guys that I have hope for, that they can get to the NHL level and be regular contributors.
Yeah, today's NHL, definitely you need the mobile defenseman, but you still need those bruisers, those big guys that clear out the crease, that go in the corners, that do the hard work, that block the shots. So as you said, we've stockpiled the more mobile defensemen. Now we're trying to get those big guys to pair up with those mobile guys. So. The defensive situation in the near future looks promising. I don't want to say it looks bright, but there's definitely some promise there. It's
a little bit more of a flicker than there was before.
Yeah, it's definitely the defensive side of the prospect pool is definitely deeper than the very shallow side that is the forward crop. So. Are there future Norris Trophy winning defensemen in the pipeline? Probably not, but you definitely have yourselves the makings of a solid, deep defensive core, and you can sprinkle in another, veteran when the time gets there, and you see what happens. But the defensive side of the prospect pool is definitely more promising out of the two ends of the ice.
Yeah, so. Lucas Reichel is.
About it.
He's waiting there in the pool on his own, and he's just like, hey,
there's some
Marco.
There's some guys that could be NHLers, but the Blackhawks have a prospect pool of like a bunch of Mackenzie Entwistles, and that's not a slam on Mackenzie Entwistle, as we just talked. He's a nice player, but you got to have a lot more than 12 nice players on the ice. You got to have some dynamic, dangerous players, and outside of Lucas Reichel, who I'm not ready to say is dynamic just yet, but compared to the rest of the prospect pool, he certainly is.
He's pretty good.
I definitely think he's a top 6 player. Is he a superstar? I don't know.
No.
Can he be? Maybe.
But he doesn't have to be.
Right. But
I think
he's a nice piece to throw in there with, with your DeBrincat and with your Doc and your Hagel going forward. Those are the guys you need to identify, and he could be one of those.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of promise to Alex Vlasic, and I think if there was a PointsBet app for the or a PointsBet bet that you could make on him getting a game before the trade deadline, maybe Saturday, but definitely Sunday for the Wilmette native playing at the United Center against the Winnipeg Jets. I think that would be a pretty safe bet to make. And if you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use the code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets for up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks not only our Blackhawks content, but all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, feel free to email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now, register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. So we were talking about the trade deadline coming up. Obviously, it's a big topic. We were talking about, looking at Calvin DeHaan's value, how the Josh Manson trade plays out, and how that could impact, what the market is for Calvin DeHaan. We mentioned the piece by Mark Lazarus and Scott Powers. They had some other interesting information in that article about what the Blackhawks asking price is looking like for some of these players. You and I both, I think, are a little bit surprised by what the reported asking price is for a Dominik Kubalik, a second-round pick.
You can ask
how?
it. You're not going to get it.
How is that what they could realistically be asking for him?
Well,
at this point?
any negotiator would tell you ask high. That's asking really high.
I guess, yeah.
If somebody gives you that, you take that before that general manager is fired and that deal is off the table. But you can ask for it. You're not going to get it, but you can certainly ask for it, and you can get hung up on and laughed at. But that trade value is just, I don't see it, but you never know. You never know. Crazier, never underestimate the stupidity of an NHL general manager at trade deadline.
It's the reason why they call it silly season.
Yeah, never say never.
Also in there, Dylan Strome, who may or may not still be being shopped. Also a second-round pick. Now, that is way more realistic than Dominik Kubalik getting a second-round pick, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've talked about Dylan Strome to death. At this point, everybody knows how we feel. At this point, I wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't even trade him for a second-round pick right now. If someone offers me a first, I'll make that deal. Second-round pick, I think I'm going to keep him at a relatively team-friendly contract for the next couple of years. To me, that's not worth the second-round pick. First-round pick in 2023, I'll make that trade.
Yeah, especially depending on which team we're seeing the Blackhawks deal with. If it's a Colorado or a team like the New York Rangers for Dylan Strome or even Dominik Kubalik, I mean that's a team that's looking to beef up their depth scoring. Those are 2 players who could really do that. So I mean that's a team that is looking to build for the future, looking to be a contender, and I think a Rangers 2022 or 2023 second or first round pick, like that's going to be pretty decent to work with.
Strome brothers on the same line.
There you go. That'll sell some more tickets in New York.
That's a storyline. As a writer, I want a storyline. That's a storyline.
There you go. And Marc-Andre Fleury also mentioned in there. Obviously, the asking price is going to be high. Reportedly, a first round pick and a prospect, a top end prospect. I think we talked about it earlier. his performance tonight is just kind of an exclamation point on what he can bring to a contending team. Obviously, it's up to him if he wants to go, but I think if you're getting a first round pick and a first round level prospect, you really, if you're Kyle Davison, you really have to have had this conversation with Fleury already and just be like, look, like there's ways you can go to a contending team, try and put a team over the hump like Toronto, like Vegas, be able to go there, compete, try and get a cup, and come back to Chicago if that's what you really want to do. If you really want to try and have to save 48 shots a night, hey, by all means, come on back in the summer. You don't have to move your family around if you don't want to. Again, I don't advocate for that plan, but that could be something that they do. If the Blackhawks are getting a first-round pick and a first-round caliber prospect from Marc-Andre Fleury, you have to make that trade.
You do, and I think the Blackhawks could get that because look at the goaltending market. There's nobody in the same level as Marc-Andre Fleury available. So the Blackhawks have all the leverage here. You can't say, hey, well, we didn't get Marc-Andre Fleury, but we can go get Robin Leonard or, another goalie, an all-star caliber goalie. There is no other all-star caliber goalie out there to go get. So they have the leverage, and now you have a team like Toronto that's looking pretty desperate. I know they had their young goalie get a shutout tonight.
You mean you don't have any confidence in Eric Kallgren? Eric Kallgren?
Sure. No, I'd rather have Marc-Andre Fleury. Davidson has the leverage. He holds the cards in his hand.
Davidson has the leverage, but Marc-Andre Fleury is calling the shots.
Well,
this
is true. We still don't know.
That's the stalemate
that's the big unknown. And we, as you said, I would hope that these conversations have taken place and the Blackhawks are just doing really good at not getting that information out there. And for the most part, the Blackhawks have been really good in that department. Under the Stan Bowman era, we never heard a whole lot of those types of things. There were a lot of trades that happened. We were like, whoa, I never knew the Blackhawks wanted to get that guy or were looking to trade him.
Yeah.
So they've always been good at keeping that in-house. So I would hope that those conversations have happened and they know one way or the other what's going to happen. And, I would have to think, if Marc-Andre Fleury and Kyle Davidson agreed that there'd be no trade, they would have said that. They would have made it known.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's the point of not making that known? If you're not going to trade him, why keep it out there? That's a distraction.
Yeah, because that's basically all that's been able to be talked about.
That's half of our show for the last week is Marc-Andre Fleury.
Right.
So if he doesn't want to be traded, just tell us that already. So obviously, I don't think that's the decision that's been made, or at least not the final decision made. Maybe he's waiting to see who that team is.
Yeah, and we, to the point you made about the goalie market, we saw today Anton Hudobin with the Stars is done for the year. So that pretty much, for a Stars team that's trying to, get into a wild card position, I think that pretty much takes Braden Holtby off the market. So,
or maybe we send Marc-Andre Fleury to Texas. I know that'll make January very happy.
Yes, that's true. That's a pretty good reason.
She'd be happy with that trade. She doesn't want us to trade
to get going
Fleury,
with that.
but if we trade him to Dallas, that might make it easier for her.
Absolutely. And speaking of Marc-Andre Fleury's trade value, let's quickly get to our CHGO fourth stars of the game tonight. We have pretty much the entire lineup to choose from outside of Marc-Andre Fleury. He was named one of the 3 stars, along with Patrice Bergeron and Matt Grzelcyk. I'll go first. It's not Marc-Andre Fleury, but it is his trade value is my fourth star of the night, because we never said it had to be a player, but it is his trade value. 46 saves tonight out of 48 shots. Just again, I said it earlier. I think this should be the last game, the last performance he puts on tape going into the trade deadline. This should be just the convincing mark of like, hey, he's still got it. And you put him on a contending team, a team that can give him some offensive support, some goal support, you can make a deep run. And we saw tonight Vegas lost to the Winnipeg Jets 7-3. That's their 5th straight regulation loss. I think they need help with goaltending.
Yeah.
If Kelly McCrimmon can get over himself and Marc-Andre Fleury and him can can make good, I think that's a reunion for a cup run that a lot of people in Vegas would appreciate.
And an also hilarious reunion because, like, hey, you gave us to him for nothing, and now we're gonna get your first round pick and your best prospect.
What do you want to give us back? Yeah,
so that would be hilarious. I'd be all for it. I love stupid stuff, and that's pretty stupid.
So yeah, I'll go with Marc-Andre Fleury's trade value tonight as my 4-star.
All right. Well, I'm going to go, before I reveal my 4-star, I want to give an honorable 5th star to our producer here, Joey, for coming up with this awesome 4-star graphic for us to use. It's good stuff. Get to see Mario's cartoon spray tan and my smug look on the screen.
I'm loving Summer Mario on there. That's good. That's good. It's making me excited for the warm
I'm going to
weather.
give my 4-star to a guy that's really progressed well over the past few games, and that's Caleb Jones. He had another really good game. He's coming off his career offensive outburst against Ottawa the other night with a couple of goals. He had the primary assist. It was Caleb Jones' shot that Brendan Hagel deflected into the net for the Blackhawks' only goal. But, he had that, and he had 22 minutes and 26 seconds of ice time. That's a season high. This is a kid that's been averaging under 16 minutes a game all season, but this was a game that they needed him to step up. You didn't have Connor Murphy on the ice. You got Eric Gustafson in the lineup, who we talked about, is just not trusted to play any minutes that's not on the power play. And, so you needed him to step up and play second pair minutes, and he did it very well. He had 6 hits tonight, 2 block shots, and played a little bit on the penalty kill, too. There was a lot of PK time out there. So he was out there for a little over a minute, but he still contributed. Mm-hmm. So Caleb Jones is my CHGO 4th star of the night.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Caleb Jones, earlier last week, and I really don't see too much of a future for him with Chicago, but I think he's someone that can solidify a third pair role on a cheap 1-year contract. Yeah. Give him some extra time to see what he's got. Fine. I mean, his play recently has been better. So
because he's playing every night,
yeah,
that makes a big difference. He's one of those kids that have been in and out of the lineup, and he's dealt with some injuries, but good for him. So,
yeah, some consistency needed.
Absolutely, sure. It's amazing that not having to worry about your playing time, how much that can help.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works out. Yeah. So who are we going with? Fleury's trade value or Caleb Jones on the rise?
I love your pick, but I'm going to go with I'm going to stick with my pick, the actual player.
The actual player?
Yeah.
You don't think I can circumvent the rules?
No, you're allowed to make any pick you want, but I got to give you. I got to go Team Kales. Hashtag Team Kales.
Hashtag Team Kales. All right. Well, you have a hashtag. I don't, so I guess you get the win.
All right.
So, Caleb Jones will now be getting a free CHGO shirt sent his way. So we'll, Caleb, if you want to send us your address, we'll get that shirt right out to you.
Yeah, or you can walk down after practice, come join us in the studio. We'll give it to you in person.
Absolutely. Would definitely love that.
Yeah, we're just a couple blocks away.
So you've been hearing us talk a lot about PointsBet recently. We are excited to announce a new sponsorship starting up with CHGO here. That is with Athletic Greens. They came on recently as a sponsor, and when I heard the news that they were going to be, with us at CHGO, I got really excited because I'd been hearing a lot about their AG1 product, and I've been enjoying it ever since they gave us some to use, and it's been working great. It's the AG1 formula is designed to improve your gut health, optimize your immune system, and just give you some more natural energy. 1 scoop of that AG1, you're getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. That'll help you start your day right. You can get all of that in just 1 serving compared to taking a bunch of random supplements and multivitamins to get the same results. You're going to be doing that at a fraction of the cost as well. I try to eat a little bit more of a gluten-free diet when I can, and AG1 fits that, and it fits a lot of other different dietary lifestyles, whether it's keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, you'll be good to go. And it's easy to incorporate into your life no matter how busy you might be. It's a small, once-a-day habit with big benefits. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's all you need. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. So make it easy, and to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So we're going to wrap this one up here pretty quickly, but I did want to tease this out. It is March. College basketball season is in the peak as we get to tournament time. We're having some fun here at CHGO Blackhawks. We will be having a little Twitter bracket going to be going out in the next couple of days here that Greg put together. 64 Blackhawks legends, and the term legends is, subjective, but 64 Blackhawks legends, and we are going to put it up to the fans to see who is the top one. Greg, you want to give us a little sneak peek of that?
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have nice. We're gonna have we came up with 64 all-time Blackhawks, and we seeded them, and we put them in their own brackets. We got some fun bracket names, so we're gonna let it roll out and coincide with the tournament. You'll get the vote on which players you want in head-to-head brackets, and we're just gonna have some fun with it. So tune in to Thursday, where it's gonna be our first non-post-game show
besides launch day. Yeah.
Right, and so we'll have some. We'll reveal those brackets to you on Thursday, and then make sure you're following the CHGO Blackhawks Twitter account, because that's where you're gonna be able to vote for all these guys. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yep, and that is at CHGO_Blackhawks on Twitter. Be sure to give that a follow. Be sure to give Greg a follow at Greg Boysen. And myself on Twitter at Mario_Tirabassi. I think we'll put a bow on that. Looking forward. We got some great matchups in that bracket, and I think there's going to be some interesting upsets. So we'll see how you guys vote it, and we'll go from there. But that'll do it for us tonight. Blackhawks lose 2-1 in overtime to the Bruins. They are back in action on Saturday and Sunday, and then the trade deadline on Monday. So it's going to be a busy couple of days going into the weekend. So we will see you all again very soon. For Greg Boysen, I'm Mario Tirabassi. See you next time.